I'm so glad you are here. This morning we are doing some LSAT studying. I decided to live stream it for you guys today. So, yeah. We're gonna start with some of the drill practice questions, and then we're going to go and get into like the content of it. Welcome to the live stream. Right now I'm doing some LSAT studying. I'm gonna start with some practice problems, and we're gonna go into the videos. How are you doing today? For the most part, I think that like there's multiple sections. I think one section I'm getting to understand a little bit more by looking at like the keys, like different patterns on how to find the answers. So that's what I'm writing down, that indicator for me. Glad you could tune in. Feel free to like the video, leave a comment. Hello, welcome, Grayson. How are you doing this morning? Glad you're doing good. Welcome, welcome everybody to the live stream. Uniquely Mia here. I am a dual degree grad student studying public administration and criminal justice. Right now I'm doing some LSAT studying. So I'm going to respond to your comments. So like keep the comments coming, but I do want to study as well. So I decided to live stream it as well. So yeah, definitely like the video, subscribe to the channel. I am a dual degree graduate student studying public administration and criminal justice. And welcome, welcome, Lappy. Glad YouTube sent you this live. Welcome to this channel. All people, ideas, and opinions are welcome as long as we communicate to each other in a kind and respectful way. And right now I'm studying for the LSAT. So like this is honestly like a study video. Right now it's kind of quiet because I'm going to go back and do some drills, also known as practice problems. But when I start watching the video, it's going to get like a little louder. So if you guys want to see Unique Lumia LSAT studying, feel free to do that. But like on this channel, I do a lot. So I do videos such as this. I also do travel videos, grad school videos, eat with me, technology videos, a lot, guys. Thank you so much for subscribing, Grace, and welcome to the Unique Lumia channel. So let's get back into it. It's going to get a little quiet, but as I said, feel free to leave a comment. And once I'm done answering all these questions, I'll definitely read your comment. Since arguments question. Since the sign says keep off the grass, I know. It's up to use a statement. Thus, anyone who can distinguish the significance from incident. Thus, okay. All historians are able to support trends, but anyone able to is able to distinguish the significance from insignificant. Thus, okay, political systems whose laws originate in elected legislators are aristocrats come from. Animals that possess horns or antlers use them not to attack prey, but for interspecies combat. Okay, so animals and antlers use interspecies combat can affect animals so quick. Never had the claws on a fin. People living in open and democratic countries, customs that are determined at least. Okay, guys. Which one of the following best illustrates the principle? Okay. Therefore, it cannot justify leading. Okay. When presented with the evidence against him, Elson freely admitted to engaging in illegal transactions using company facilities. However, the company obtained evidence by illegally recording Edson's conversation. Therefore, although the company may demand that he immediately cease, it cannot justifiably take any punitive measures against him because they legally obtained information. So, which of the following best illustrates the principle above? After Pearson passed having stolen money from Long over a period of several years, the secretary has admitted that he illegally received paying would never be justified. After told Sarah parents that he had seen her at the movie on Tuesday, Sarah confessed to sneaking out that day. On Monday, however, was connected after a conversation. Officers discovered and admitted that no, not that one. Ramsey Ramirez was forced. But this Ramirez admitted that she lied about her wrong. She said that she nevertheless no. Okay, let's do this one. Welcome everybody. Welcome Rick. Welcome Grayson. Welcome Think. Glad you could tune in. Welcome Stu Lover Kitchen. Good morning. Holly, how are you doing today? Right now we are studying for the LSAT. So I'm starting with some drills, also known as practice problems. William Did you know that rainbows always occur opposite of the sun? Okay, so now we're going to do something known as blind reviews. I answered the questions, and now I'm going to go back in and literally like re-answer the question to see if I change it or if I get it wrong. So the purpose of blind review is to try to like get the answers right again, or like see like how your answer was wrong because like I was trying to answer it within the time frame the first round. Like on the real test you don't have that, but like they said it's good to do the blind reviewing for this stuff. So now we're going to go through and do all that again. But welcome Anna, welcome from Brazil. How are you doing? I'm from the United States. So what this argument did, it took, for the conclusion, it took A plus B, and it gave the answer. Can't distinguish the significant. And then the answer was B plus A. So let's see if we can get an answer choice that matches that pattern of reasoning. Let's see. Flawed reasoning. All expressions used for emotional impact are expressions used by poets. So A we're looking for. So A is poets. Emotional impact for poets. All figures of speech are expressions used for. So now we're saying B is figures of speech for emotional impact. So we know our answer choice should look like, our answer choice should have speech and poets. Speech and poets, right? So any expression. Speech and poets should be our answer. No. That's not it. It should have said that. So we're going to eliminate A. And if A was the right answer, then my reasoning was wrong. But we're going to eliminate it for now. We're going to say that's not right. Okay. Okay, so now let's go back to B. So political systems whose laws originated in elected legislatures are opponent. So we're saying A here is political systems whose laws originate in elected legislatures. So we're saying these laws are prone to fascism. So on the test you have paper, but I won't have this much time, but this is just practice to see if it works. B, factionalism leads to civil disorder. So we're saying this F leads to civil disorder. So our answer choice, our correct answer choice is going to take civil disorder. Civil disorder is going to come first, and then it's going to end with laws like elected official leads to fascism. No, we're going to eliminate B as well. I don't think it's that based on that. It doesn't follow the pattern. That's the original answer. So let's see. I chose C. Let's do this method for my answer that I chose. Animals that possess horns or antlers use them not to attack prey, but for interspecies combat. So our A is saying animals use horns for interspecies combat. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna go to B. In fact, animals so equipped never have the claws. So, no claws, fangs had by predators. So remember, our answer choice B is going to come before A. It has to say thus animals with no claws that never had thing. Don't think so. I don't know. Let's see. Let's go to D. No one without a deep desire to communicate can be know without a deep desire to communicate can. Okay, so we're saying no one. A is a blues museum. So short, witty writers, all of whom have the same desire to communicate. People living in open democratic countries have customs that are determined large part by an inherited past. Okay, so countries have customs. So we're saying customs by an inherited past, but no might be E. I've chosen the wrong answer. So I'm gonna do E from blind review. I think it's E based on that method that I was using. I didn't use it originally. Alright, let us see this one. Welcome, Grayson. Okay, let's see. Which of the following judgments best illustrates the principle illustrated? Okay, when presented with evidence against him, Allison freely admitted to engaging in illegal transactions using company facilities. However, the company obtained evidence by illegally recording conversations. Therefore, although the company may demand that he immediately cease, it cannot justifiably take any punitive actions against him. So even though the Ellison admitted, since the company obtained evidence illegally, they can't. They're not justified in taking action. Okay, so for this one, when I do the blind review, I'm not going to be looking at that A-B method. I'm just going to try and see if I can find an answer choice that follows the same reason. So an answer choice that's going to follow the same reason, I think the correct one, I think, is going to say, is somebody admitted to a crime or did something illegal? However, the person or the company who is trying to prove that they did something illegal also did something illegal. So therefore, the conclusion sentence should speak about something that that the company or the person isn't justified in taking legal action because they also did something legal. So that's what I think is the right answer. So we're gonna go through it and see if we can find that same method of reasoning. Good morning, Baja. How are you doing? Good morning, Tony. Doing the LSAT right now, studying for it. We're trying to see. Okay. So after Prince confessed to have stolen money from Long, okay, so Prince confessed to have stolen money from Long over a period of 7 years. Long began stealing money from Prince. Despite Prince's guilt, Long was not justified in taking illegal action against him. That's what I chose. I chose A, but we're gonna go through and read. So that was my original answer. So in the blind review, let's see if we can find another question that we think better matches the reasoning. So we're saying Shaka's secretary has admitted that he is illegally receiving cable television without paying for it, okay? Shaka will not be justified in reporting him, though, since she once did the same thing. I'm not going to choose this one because even though it follows similar reasoning, we're speaking about, she said once. We're not really speaking about personal experiences. We're speaking about two different individuals who did illegal activities to lead to our conclusions. I don't think it's that. After Takis told Sarah's parents that he had seen her at the movies on Tuesday, Sarah confessed to sneaking out that day. On Monday, however, Takis had violated the local curfew for minors. Hence, Sarah This one was trying, when I chose my answer A, I was somewhat thinking it's C, but I'm not sure. Like, I'm not confident that it's C. I'm gonna leave it though. Let's see. After a conversation, officers discovered them. After a conversation, officers discovered them. Kimmer admitted that he sent illegal animal tapes on his land, but because she was trespassing at the time, Reimers was forced by the discovery of new evidence to admit that she lied about it. No, we're not gonna choose E. Might be D. Okay, we're gonna do blind review D. Okay. And then let us just see. Okay. Did I change my answer for this? I was right on that one on the first try. What is this? My method of reasoning did not work, so that wasn't good. What was the answer? Let's see. All expressions used for emotional impact are expressions used by poets. All figures of speech are expressions used for emotional impact. Does anyone can distinguish significance is a story? This one answer was. What was the answer for this one? Oh, I got it right on the blind review for this one. Not the first try. Okay, let us write down the answers didn't get, and then we're gonna go and watch the videos for the explanation. I feel like the difficulty level is weird because it said I got one. I got more than one right, but like the ones I got right, one of them were like the 5 thing. Hey Lucas, glad you can tune in. How are you doing today? This one was treats the statement still it were. Let's see. Let me see if they have any live classes today. I like to focus on, I'm trying, I might have to break it up, but like I'm trying to focus on one type of questions before I move on to a different type. Okay, they have one at 1, so we're going to go to the gym late today. So we're going to go to the session at 1 o'clock. The gym doesn't open till 12. In this appointment, they have the parallel reasoning because that's what I'm going over. So I'm going to go to that today as well, because that's the question type I'm focusing on now. Obviously, I don't have enough time to try and master this question type before I move on to another one, but at least get most of the questions right before I move on. Welcome, Wolfman. Have a great day as well. Thank you so much for your kind words. Welcome everyone to the live. Right now, I am doing some practice problems. I started off with some drills just to see like where I'm at, or like what I remembered. So, yeah. So now I'm writing down the answers I didn't get right, and then we're going to watch some videos, essentially explaining how they found the right answer, and then we're going to go through. I might read a portion of my book. No, that book's not really helpful, but we'll see. All I need is 5 points. I can increase my score by 5 points. I will be good. So we shall see, guys. They took away Khan Academy. When I first took the exam and I first started studying, they had Khan Academy. I liked that. But I guess it was free and they wanted to like studying even more hard for people. So yeah. This. It definitely takes a while to write down these questions because I write down everything, all the answer choices. Because sometimes what I like to do, I like to go back through it. Like I open my notebook and I try to resolve the answers. that I got wrong, like after I go through like the videos and stuff to see if I learned anything to now get the answer right. So, but when you guys do that, you have to take some time between that, because you can just get the answer right because you remember the answer choice. But yeah. Okay. What's the answer? Oh, the correct answer is B. Okay. Treats a statement about the consequence of an action as though it were instead everyone. It's weird. When you read the answer choices, they make sense. But when they show you the right answer, but when you're trying to find the answer choice, it doesn't make any sense, or you can't find it. It obviously didn't make any sense to me since I got it wrong. But yeah. But welcome to the live stream. How is everyone doing today? Just remember, guys, intelligence exams are not a measure of your intelligence, okay? Standardized tests doesn't tell you how smart you are. They're, in my opinion, and I'm not just saying this, okay, because because the LSAT Studying is not cool, or, like, I'm probably not going to get into Ivy, but, like, they're just not a good measure of your intelligence. You have to learn the exam and, like, probably pay a lot of people to really do that. And I know that from personal experience with that SAT. If you guys went into higher education after COVID-19, you probably don't have to take the SAT because they waived it. Lucky you guys. But when I had to take it to get into not graduate school, and to get into university, and when I tell you, I didn't have a good score. I really didn't have a good score. My mom thinks I had a good score. I didn't. I'm not going to tell you the score, but just know it wasn't a good score at all. And according to that test, I wasn't supposed to be ready for university. And I literally graduated summa cum laude in university, and I did well in all my classes in university. So intelligence tests, standardized tests, they're not a measure of your intelligence. They're not a measure of your how successful you will be. Unfortunately, you do have to try and do well on them because that's what gets you in the door. But it's not fair sometimes, but I guess I understand why they have it, but just know it doesn't tell you how smart you are. So, yeah. Because look at me, might have to take the GRE to get into graduate school. And I'm doing pretty well for myself, if I have to say. So, and normally have to take GRE, so if they can remove tests like that, guys, it really shows you that test doesn't really matter, but they just have it as a barrier for people. Okay, so now I'm going to put the right answer at the bottom. Correct answer. Yeah, I'm going to put the answer that I originally chose as well to, like, because remember I said I'm going to go back and do it. So my original answer choice was E. So now we are going to go, what is this? Okay, I'm going to write down this answer. Did I write down? Yeah, I'll write down the last two. The last answer is a really big one. So welcome. Thank you for your weather report, King of the Weather. There's an extreme cold warning, parts of Montana, Idaho, Texas, California, Florida. So yeah, stay warm out there. Hey, AJ, we are doing LSAT studying. Welcome, Jason. Glad you can tune in. Yeah, you probably came after COVID-19. That's when they started to waive the test. Before COVID, who was required to take the LSAT. I'm not the LSAT, the SAT and thing. So for all you guys who didn't have to take it, lucky you. I mean, when they did that, I mean, honestly, it's kind of, I wasn't upset because I just know, I was just like, why did they do that? Because I had to study for it and I didn't like it, like I said. But you guys got lucky, so, yeah. But, like, it made sense why they did it. But, yeah. And they always waive stuff after you do it. And they're talking about waiving the LSAT. So I bet I'm going to go through all this studying. And when I get accepted, maybe my first year, they're going to be like, oh, the LSAT's no longer required for people. They already said that, but that's just for some schools. I could take the GRE instead. That's the graduate standardized test. But I don't know. So, but yeah, that's how it always works. Like, you always study for stuff, and then after, they waive everything and they take it away. So that's what they did with the LSAT. I mean, the SAT. A year after I took it, it was waived. Able to distinguish significance from insignificance. Then another thing, guys, if you want to go to law school, major in philosophy. That's one thing I did not know. It wasn't until I actually started studying for the LSAT, people were like, hey, if you majored in philosophy, you would have been good. Like, your score would have been your first try because throughout your studies as a philosophy major, it was supposed to help you. So, guys, that shows you, don't listen to your university. Do your own research, because my university never really told me what major to major in. They didn't offer a philosophy major, so maybe that's why. But, like, that's, like, the major for law degrees. People say English and all that. No, it's philosophy, okay? Because that's supposed to help you. Even math. They said if you're a math major, that's supposed to help you. I don't know. jump like criminal justice and stuff. That's not helping you at all. Okay. Of figure speech expressions. Are used for welcome, Aiden. How are you doing today? I flipped it. I was looking for the pattern. How did that work? They said all historians are able to spot trends. I just want to say one thing. In Wisconsin, I know people graduated in 1993 and they went to business school and they never had to take the test. And this was during the Clinton administration. Yeah, that's the GRE for business school. So yeah, some programs always waive the GREs, but like in modern society, most programs that they say was like accredited programs or not even accredited, but in maybe like the top 20 or top 40 programs you could attend, they generally required the GRE. That's for grad school. So now most programs who fall in that category, they don't require the GRE. Obviously, if you want to go to an Ivy school, you still have to take it. But yeah, so, but I was mostly speaking about like the SAT. But yeah, I did mention the GRE, but yeah, they didn't always. Some schools required it, some schools didn't pre-COVID. Welcome, King of the Weather. King of the Weather said there's currently, I do not know what that is, but there's that in County, Oregon, and it's snowing there. There's a cold weather advisory in Oregon as well. Shoes and ball hairs. However, if you do get into a top school, it's much easier. There's no guarantee after you pay all that money that your score will increase substantially. It's understandable why they make it so hard. Now I'm going to watch the videos on how they solve it.
The question 7 says Sid's argument is questionable in that it blank. So this is a flaw question. There's something wrong about Sid's response here to Mickey. So Sid starts by saying the sign says keep off the grass. And then Mickey says, I know, but just one person walking across the grass doesn't hurt it. So if there's this patch of grass here, according to Mickey, if you just have a single person walking across the grass, there's no harm from one person doing that. But Sid responds and says, no, your statement is false. And so let's make sure to translate what that means. When Sid says your statement is false, well, if Mickey just said one person walking across doesn't hurt it, what Sid is saying is actually one person walking across the grass does hurt it. So Sid's response here is that there is harm from one person walking across the grass. And why? Well, Sid continues and tells us, because if everyone believed as you do, everyone would walk across the grass and the grass would die. So this is the premise or the reasoning supporting Sid's conclusion here that Mickey is wrong. What Sid is saying is, well, look, if everyone believed as Mickey did, then everybody would walk across the grass. And if everyone did that, then there is harm. So what's flawed about Sid's response here? Let's think about why Sid's premise does not actually prove what Mickey said is wrong. And the whole issue boils down to precisely interpreting the idea that Mickey's statement is false. What Mickey said is that one person walking across the grass doesn't hurt it. Mickey's describing this situation right here. But Sid's evidence isn't about one person walking across the grass. Sid's evidence is what would happen if everyone started to walk across the grass. But even if it's true that everyone walking across the grass would kill the grass, that doesn't prove that a single person walking across the grass would cause harm. Maybe one person's fine, but everyone's not. So I don't know exactly how to describe Sid's flaw here. It doesn't strike me as one of those named flaws, those cookie cutter kinds of flaws. But I'm going to go into the answers knowing that the flaw is that Sid's evidence about everyone and what would happen if everyone walked across the grass does not tell me what would happen if just one person walked across the grass. That's the issue. So for the purpose of this explanation, let's start at the bottom and then work our way up. Answer choice C says that Sid's argument attempts to undermine a statement. Okay, that part's correct. It attempts to undermine Mickey's statement by calling into question the character of the person making the statement. No, this is wrong. Sid didn't say anything about Mickey's character, her background. Sid's comment has nothing to do with Mickey's character, so E is wrong. What about D? Discounts the fact that there may be circumstances under which hurting the grass is justified? Okay, yeah, like maybe there are times where it's okay to kill grass, right? If grass killed your parents, then it should be okay to kill the grass back. But that doesn't relate to this argument because this argument's just about whether or not one person walking across the grass hurts it. It's not about whether it's justified, it's just about the consequences of one person walking across the grass. What about C? Does Sid's argument contradict itself by treating a statement that the arguer does not believe as though it were a statement believed by everyone? Well, although Sid does comment about what would happen if everyone believed as Mickey does, there's no contradiction here. Sid is simply trying to prove Mickey's statement false by talking about what would happen if people believed that it were true. This isn't a situation where Sid believes one thing but then claims something else that undermines his own belief. And in addition, C is inaccurate when it says that Sid behaves as though it were a statement believed by everyone, because Sid's not actually saying everyone does in fact believe what Mickey thinks. Sid's just saying what would happen if everyone believed as Mickey thinks. That's a conditional, that's a hypothetical. Maybe Sid thinks people actually don't believe what Mickey thinks. He's just saying what would happen if they did. So he's not treating that statement as if everyone actually believes it. So now it comes down to answer choices A and B, which sound pretty similar to each other. Let's start with B. B says that Sid's argument treats a statement about the consequences of an action as though it were instead about the consequences of everyone believing that statement. And you know what? This is accurate. It's not exactly phrased as I was thinking it might be, but it captures Sid's flaw. Mickey's statement was a statement about the consequences of a particular action. What action was that? One person walking across the grass. She's saying the consequence is not harmful, it doesn't hurt the grass. But Sid seems to think that he can prove Mickey's statement wrong by talking about what would happen if everyone believed as Mickey thinks. But these are just two separate issues. What would happen if everyone believed something is different from what would happen if one person walks across the grass. Sid seems to think that pointing out what would happen if everyone believed Mickey's statement would somehow contradict the idea that one person walking across the grass causes no harm. So he treats what Mickey said as if Mickey said that everyone walking across the grass is okay. In Sid's mind, Mickey was saying that if everyone believed that it was okay to walk across the grass, then there would be no harm. That's why Sid seems to think that his premise would go against what Mickey said. So this is why B is correct. But let's figure out why A is wrong. A says that Sid attempts to use a statement about the consequences of actions to disprove a statement about the actions themselves. Now, the problem with answer choice A is this second half, and let's understand why. So let's take a look at the first half. Attempts to use a statement about the consequences of actions. I think that's accurate because Sid does use as a premise a statement about the consequences of actions. He tells us about the consequence of everyone walking across the grass. But does he use that to disprove a statement about the actions themselves rather than the consequences? Well, not quite, because if we consider everyone walking across the grass as harming the grass, if we consider that as a statement about the consequences of an action, then Mickey was also making a statement about the consequences of an action. She was saying that one person walking across the grass does not have the consequence of harm. So Sid was using a statement about the consequences of an action to disprove another statement about the consequences of an action. We can't say that Mickey's statement was about the action itself, whereas Sid was saying something that was not about the action itself. They're both talking about consequences. So that's why A is not accurate. Answer choice A would be a lot better if it had said attempts to use a statement about the consequences of everyone performing an action to disprove a statement about the consequence of one person performing an action. The distinction between everyone and one person is the key.
Okay, so now we're gonna watch the other video. Welcome to the live stream. Mike, I'm live streaming what I'm saying because I want to. That's one. Number two, I'm uniquely Mia, also known as Mia, a dual degree graduate student studying public administration and criminal justice. And on this channel, I show you guys my life. And sometimes we don't do fun stuff all the time. 9 times out of 10, 90% of the time, we're studying. Okay, whether that's schoolwork, LSAT studying, we're doing some type of schoolwork. So if I'm trying to be as realistic with you guys as possible on this channel and share stuff that's appropriate, you're gonna see me live streaming sometimes. And number 3, because I think you guys can learn something as well, even if you're not studying for the LSAT. I mean, yeah, some of these questions are really, I guess you can say, interesting to like hear about if you're not the one studying for it. And I think if you pay attention, potentially, like, I don't know, it could probably change your method of thinking. That's what they said, like the questions ideally are supposed to do. Welcome, Forrest. How are you doing today? Welcome, John. Glad you can tune in. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. As I said, I'm Uniquely Mia, also known as Mia, due degree grad student studying public administration and criminal justice. And I essentially show you guys my life, ranging from grad school content, LSAT studying, fashion videos, travel videos, eat with me, technology videos. I do a lot, guys. So let's get back into it.
Question 18 is a parallel flaw question, right? Flaw reasoning most closely resembles that in argument above. So don't be intimidated by these. I know they look long, and I mean they are long, but they're often some of the easiest questions. So so how do you do them quick? Well, typically you have to have a pretty solid foundation in logic, which, you know, why wouldn't you? Because you've been through the curriculum. So all historians able to spot trends, so all group 1 indicators. If you're a historian, then you can spot trends. That's just right. That's just right, yes. But anyone able to spot this, but anyone who able to spot trends, right? Anyone is group 1 indicator, is able to distinguish the significant from the insignificant, which call it D. Therefore, what? Therefore, if you're a historian, you can distinguish, right? Nope. That would be the correct, valid conclusion to draw. And they, of course, drew an incorrect, invalid conclusion. Thus, anyone who can distinguish is a historian, D arrow. I mean, this is a classic mistake. Right? Like, it's in our invalid argument form. So, knowing this, knowing that what you're doing here, you know, is our general A arrow B. A implies B implies C, therefore C implies A mistake, right? This should be generally in your mind as you use this to then quickly brush up against each answer choice, and it shouldn't really take you that, because you're not actually mapping stuff out. You're reading it and just like, oh, B should, I mean, I'll tell you, like, B, C, and E should be eliminated with no hesitance. Like, you're just kind of reading it, not even really processing. You're like, oh, it doesn't have the structure. Right, they're just completely gone. You're down to A and D very quickly.
Okay, I think I know what they did. 1 minute, guys. Let me write this down though. Wait 1 minute. I think I know what they did. Write this last question down. I didn't write it down the last time. Has the same desire and communicate. Good. I ran out of index cards, so I'm just using these. I need to buy more index cards. I forgot to get it out Walmart. I think I know what they did. When I was doing that A plus B, that was like, it was like the right flaw. That was the right reasoning, but this question asks about flawed, so I think. So flawed. So I think I used the other one that I was using for like those sufficient assumption questions. I'll have to go through those drills too to see if that reason was right. So for the flawed reason, we're looking for A, B, C, but the answer would have CA. Is that what he said?
Is our general A arrow. This color distinguish.
I think that's what he said.
That's just right, yes. But anyone able to spot, just forget this, but anyone who able to spot trends, right? Anyone is group 1 indicator, is able to distinguish the significant from the insignificant. I just call it D. Therefore, what? Therefore, if you're a historian, you can distinguish, right? Nope, nope. That would be the correct, valid conclusion to draw,
Okay.
and they, of course, drew an incorrect, invalid conclusion. Thus, anyone who can distinguish is a historian. D arrow. I mean, this is a classic mistake.
So we're
Right?
really
Like it's in
gonna
our
use
invalid argument form. So, if you, knowing this, knowing that what you're doing here, is our general A arrow B. A implies B implies C. Therefore, C implies A mistake. Right? This should be generally in your mind as you use this to then quickly brush up against each of the answer choices, and it shouldn't really take you that because you're not actually mapping stuff out. You're reading it, you're just like, oh, B should. I mean, I'll tell you, like B, C, and E should be eliminated with no hesitance. Like you're just kind of reading it, not even really processing. You're like, oh, it doesn't have the structure, right? They're just completely gone. You're down to A and D very quickly, right? That should be how it goes, and then hopefully you realize A is right. A says all expressions used for emotional impact are expressions used by poets. So, I don't know, that's whatever. Just don't get lost in this fancy talk here. So emotional impact are used by poets, right? And all figures of speech are expressions used for emotional impact. So figures of speech are emotional impact. So therefore, what? What would it have to conclude to be the right answer choice? Right? Not the valid conclusion to draw, the right invalid conclusion to draw, the right answer choice. P implies FS. So if you're a poet, or not if you're a poet, sorry. P stands for expressions used by poet. Expressions used by poets, all of them are figures of speech, which is any expression used by poet is a figure of speech. Perfect. A is right. Honestly, you should just move on. It just matches way too well, right? At the very least, you read this, you're like, okay, fine. Maybe this is such a well constructed, well laid trap that I just misread. That's why I think it matches so well. So then maybe I'll just quickly glance at the others to make sure none of them are even close. And B's not close, C's not close, E's not close, D is kind of close maybe. So D is actually a little bit tough to translate. I guess it makes sense to do that here. So no one without. So you have kind of two options: no or without. And from our lessons, you should have learned it because they kind of do happen a lot. Like the negation, the no, and the without. Group 4, Group 3, they appear together a lot. So you should have realized that you should know that it doesn't matter. Just choose one, whichever one's easier. I think probably it's easier to go with a no construction because then it just the grammatical structure of this, right? It just kind of breaks down along this predicate verb here more easily. You can see the two ideas, right? So no is negate necessary. So if you don't have a deep desire to communicate, then you can't be a blues musician, right? So which contrapositive, if you are a blues musician, then that means you have a deep desire to communicate. Now, this next statement, next sentence is actually a conclusion and a premise joined together, right? They say, so short story writers, comma, all of whom have that same desire to communicate. So really, this is saying all short story writers, they all have a desire to communicate. We conclude from this, right, that so short story writers could also have become blues musicians. So SSW, something about could becoming blues musicians. But hopefully you see this just, it's not, the shape is not right.
So we're looking at C to A. We said C would be emotional expressions, right? Get it, but I did more practice problems. that helps clarify the thinking a little bit. Alright, so now we're going to go to their syllabus and let us go through some of the drills to see. We're looking for parallel reasoning questions. That's what I'm mostly focused on now. King of Weather said there's a lake effect snow warning for Fulton, New York. Welcome, John. The space in between your words are quite long. Okay. Adrian, welcome, Adrian. Good morning. Good morning. Glad you can tune in. How much does a misdemeanor judge earn a year? I have no idea. Welcome, King of the Weather. I'm going to play Roblox if I don't right for why you should be here. All right, thank you so much, King of the Weather, for letting me know. FB is the glory of God, to conceal a matter, the honor of kings and queens to seek it out. That essentially means I'm not telling you my age. If you want to know my age, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and check out some of my previous YouTube live videos. I'll give you a hint. Watch my Washington, D.C. birthday adventure. I disclose my age in that video. Oh, man, go back. Okay. Welcome, welcome. Slapton, how are you doing? Welcome from Turkey. Okay. One of the following arguments is most similar in its reasoning to the argument. Watching movie videos. Okay, let's see. Most similar to the reasoning argument. Watching movie videos from the 1970s would give the viewer the impression that the music of the time was dominated by the synthesized pulpit by. But this would be misleading impression because okay, I forgot what I read. Watching music videos from the 1970s would give the viewer the impression that music videos of the time. Okay. So we're saying this is false. Okay. Our view of pre-printing press literature can never be.
Okay, let's take a look at how you did here, starting with the questions that most similar reasoning. This is parallel analogy question. Now, there's kind of like a meta reasoning happening here in the stimulus. Up to this point, this first sentence, it's not explicitly an argument, but it is implicitly an argument. So let's just, before we read on here, let's just read this, right? Watching music from the 70s give a viewer impression that music at the time dominated by synth, pop, and punk rock. It's not explicitly an argument, like I said, but this contextual information is implicitly an argument, right? The implicit argument is what kind of argument? It's a mode of reasoning that we've encountered before, and it's a mode of reasoning that we encountered back in the flaw lessons, right? And the author here calls that out. The author tells you what is flawed about this mode of reasoning, right? The mode of reasoning is from a sample over to a population or to a generalization, right? That's the implicit argument. This right here is the implicit argument right here. See, the sample is that, you didn't just randomly draw from music from the 70s, right? You drew from music videos from the 70s. That's your sample. And then on the basis of that, music videos from 70, okay, a lot of synth pop, pop and punk rock. And then you say, oh, well, music of the 70s.
Quick note, I'm not scribbling to ignore this. I've just remembered I saw a video they said when you're watching videos. I saw a girl, she was studying for the MCAT, and while she was watching videos and doing practice questions, she was just like using her non-dominant hand to scribble. They said it aids in memory retention, so when I watch videos, I have to remember to do that from now on.
Sort of generalization. Also dominated by this and this, right? That's your, if I were to make explicit the argument here. So now comes the argument, right? The argument is a meta-argument. It's an argument attacking another argument, right? Which is, sounds maybe kind of hard when I put it that way, but let's not forget that's kind of all we did back in flaw questions, right? Every single flaw question was us attacking an argument, right? At a high level, describing why an argument doesn't work. The author says, hey, that would be a misleading question. Why? Well, because the sample is biased, right? In general terms. Music videos were a new art form. They attracted primarily cutting-edge musicians. So this sample here, this seemingly innocuous sample, now that we read the author's argument, we're like, hey, wait a second, the sample is not representative. We're being explicitly told that it's biased because it attracted cutting-edge musicians, by definition, unrepresentative of your mainstream, right, of mainstream musicians. So in abstract general form, the argument is critiquing reasoning from biased sampling, right? That's what's happening. So to do that, of course, it has to give us an argument which contains reasoning from a sample to a population, right, or a sample to a generalization. And then the argument is like, wait, hold on a second, the sample is biased, so it doesn't really support, right, your conclusion. This is generic. This is all abstract. Notice I didn't write the word music videos, I didn't write 70s, right? I didn't write any of the specifics here, okay? So what I'm doing is, we're sort of towards the end of these parallel analogy lessons. I'm trying to get you to be more comfortable jumping straight from the specifics into the abstract form. Now, whether you feel comfortable doing that turns on how familiar you are with the different modes of reasoning. Okay, so with this as our anchor, I'm thinking to myself, I am looking for a critique of biased sample reasoning. And with that, I'll try to simulate a shallow dip. So with A, view of pre-printing press literature can never be accurate because surviving works, ancient authors, those copyists deem most like, so yeah, I'll keep this, right? Because this seems like, I don't know if it's fully representative of this. So moving on, memory 60, TV could, because today are still, this is not anything close. Review generation is understanding distorted if blah, 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 because the games, yeah, I would keep this as well, right? Like possible bias here. Silent films incomplete because they were disintegrate over time. No, I wouldn't keep this. This is not a critique of anything, it's just telling us, right? Because films are going to disappear, so yeah, it's not going to be complete. Our notion of fashion trends probably inaccurate to programs. Decide to select most outrageous. What? I feel like E is committing the reasoning from biased sample flaw, right? Not critiquing it. So, shallow dip would land me on A and C, and I would just deep dive either one. But like I said, this is just, what is this? It's like, it's artificial, right? It's an approximation, it's simulation. It's not that realistic, but it does give you a feeling of what time condition movement might be like. Okay, so now let's go back and examine each answer choice fully. Okay, so we'll start with answer choice A, which says our view of pre-printing press literature can never be accurate. Why not? And there's your conclusion, because surviving works, ancient are those that were deemed by copyists to be most likely to interest future readers. Okay, So you also have this sample, right? The sample is what the copyist cherry picked. Right? The copyists weren't just randomly selecting works to copy and preserve and pass on to future generations. They cherry picked accordingly. Right? They decided, hey, which ones are interesting? Which ones do I want to spend a significant amount of time, right? This is a pre-printing press, to preserve and pass on. Right? So biased sample. But I don't really feel good about A because it's not like A is trying to reason to some generalization, right? It's not like A is trying to say, hey, you know what? Copy is most likely to interest of future readers, hence what? Hence, pre-printing press literature was dominated by epic tales of heroism, right? Or like, gods fighting men or whatever. See, like what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to bring a little bit closer to this because originally this source argument that was flawed in its reasoning committed the flaw of reasoning from a biased sample. You took something about a sample, you notice, hey, the sample had a lot of punk rock. You ignore the fact that it was biased, so you generalize, oh, music back then had a lot of punk rock. I need to see that here. It's not here. I don't see anything like, the Iliad, right, was a story about gods and men and fighting, and it was heroic, and there's a lot of glory and whatever. And so I think like all pre-printing press literature was like that, right? That would be an example of generalizing. Here, they're not saying this. They're just saying our view of pre-printing can never be accurate. I don't know, like, is it not accurate? Isn't the Iliad still an accurate portrayal of pre-printing press literature or whatever, the epic Gilgamesh? It's still an accurate portrayal of what pre-printing press literature was. It may not be representative, but it's not like it's inaccurate. It's not like you took something that wasn't pre-printing press literature and you called it pre-printing press literature. Well, then that would give an inaccurate view or representation. Okay, so that's one reason why I think A doesn't match so well. Another reason is that, this is a bit more subtle, in the original argument, this critique is a highly reasonable critique precisely because there are alternative methods of getting at music of the 70s. Right? Let's say you're a historian of music, you're curious about what music of that era was like. You don't have to do this. This is not your only way of approaching this research problem, right? So this argument, this critique makes sense. Listen, go look at music videos, sure, but also look at non-music videos from the 70s so that you have an accurate impression of what music in the 70s was. See how that's not analogized over here? What are you going to do? This is all the text that we have left. You have no other way of researching this historical question of what is pre-printing press literature like. Okay, so that's a far more subtle point, but it is a large point of this analogy, this similarity between A and the stimulus. Now contrast that with answer choice C, which was the other one that survived shallow dip, right? Our future generation understand today's publishing trends will be distorted if they judge by works published in CD-ROM format, since it is primarily publishers interested in computer games that are using CD-ROM. You see, this is just a lot tighter in terms of an analogy. You have that internal, implicit, flawed reasoning, namely from biased sample, right? The sample here would be whatever today's, right? What are they talking about? 90s publishing trends, right? There's the sample. Dominated by what? Well, computer games that are using the CD-ROM format. So if you try to take that sample and generalize, oh, you know what? Publishing trends in the 90s were dominated by CD-ROMs. Well, see, that would be a wrong conclusion to draw. Why? Because you can now call it out, which is exactly what C does. C calls out this reasoning from a biased sample. Okay, so this is why C matches a lot better. Now, think about that more subtle point. You're a historian, your research topic is publishing trends from the 90s. Oh, I know what I'll do. I'll just go look at what was published in the CD-ROM format. right? That'll give me a good impression of what publishing trends in the 90s were like. Nope, I get called out for that, right? And this critique is reasonable because it's not the only thing. I don't have to do it that way. I have other research approaches. I can, sure, look at CD-ROM, just like how, sure, yeah, I can look at music videos, but I can also look at non-CD-ROM publications from the 90s, just like how I can also look at non-music video from the 90s, or sorry, 70s, to get a more representative idea of what music from that era was like, to get a more representative idea of what publishing from the 90s was like.
Hey guys, welcome everybody who just joined the live. Welcome Uniquely Mia fan. Welcome John. Oh, you're arguing. Welcome. No, WG. Remember, guys, we can have those respectful disagreements. Welcome VLS. Glad you can tune in. So I'm scribbling to aid in memory retention. I saw a girl study for the MCAT, and she said she scribbled with her non-dominant hand while she was doing practice problems and watching videos. Guys, anything to help me, okay? I'm trying to utilize anything that can help me. So yeah, feel free to keep engaging with each other, with you got with each other in the comments, guys. And yeah, thank you for being here. I'm Uniquely Mia, also known as Mia. So right now I am studying for the LSAT. So yeah, I'm mostly focusing on that. But like obviously when I'm done answering practice problems, when each videos maybe like the videos are basically explaining how the person came to get the answer. So like before I watch the video, they give me the practice problem. So I'm going through the practice problem and I'm watching a video. So yeah, Mia, can I raise you up? Right now, I'm studying for the LSAT Uniquely Mia fans. So I may not be able to read all your comments. That makes me laugh. So feel free to type it. But if I read one, if it's funny, sure. Welcome, Nut WG. Be happy you woke up. You're breathing. Your heart's beating. Thankful. Oh, they arguing. Are you YouTube? Because I want you to be mine. Well, glad you subscribed. So I'm going to get back into it, guys. Keep the comments coming. So glad you guys can be here today. Shout out if you are a returning subscriber. If you are a new viewer here, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you for being here. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel for more content such as this, in addition to grad school content, travel videos, Eat With Me technology videos, and a lot of other stuff. So I'll see you guys when I'm finished with this section. Alright, the flawed pattern of reasoning. In which one of the following is most closely parallel to that in Emil's argument? Okay, when the famous art collector Vladimir died, a public auction of her collection, the largest probably owned, was held. I can't possibly afford any of these works because hers is among the most valuable collection ever assembled by a single person, declared McNeil. Very, very interesting.
Okay, let's see how you did here. Flaw, pattern reasoning. Probably all we need to read to realize this is a parallel analogy question of the flaw subtype. Hopefully you were able to identify in the abstract form the mode of reasoning operating here. When the famous art collector Widmer died, a public auction of her collection, the largest privately owned, was held. I can't possibly afford any of the works because hers is among the most valuable collections ever assembled by a single person, declared art lover McNeil. So McNeil has exhibited a defect in his or her reasoning. What is the defect? Well, you have premise over here, you got conclusion over here. What's the premise? Widmer's collection is among the most valuable collections ever assembled by a single person. Okay, so her collection, right? Her collection. What are we calling this? Among the most valuable. You know what? I'll just improve your premise. I'll just say it's the most valuable. Forget among. It's just number one, most valuable. Okay? Does that support the conclusion you can't possibly afford any work, any of the works? It does not. Right? The reasoning here does not flow because this property belongs to the set. Right? This property belongs to the whole, as it were. This is just an individual member of the whole. Right? There are lots of works in here, no doubt. Right? I think it's fairly reasonable to assume that because a collection is the most valuable, it's pretty reasonable that at least some of these in here will be like crazy expensive, right? But you know what's not reasonable? It's not reasonable to assume that literally every single one in here is crazy expensive. So that's why this conclusion doesn't follow. Just because a property belongs to a whole doesn't necessarily mean it belongs to each one of the parts, each member of the set, in other words. Right, so this is whole to part reasoning. We did a lot of part to whole reasoning. That's far more common, where the premises are about properties of parts, and then the conclusion tries to say something about the property of the whole. That's just more common. I don't know why, for whatever reason, the LSAT writers just do that more. But, you know, this is in reverse, right? You start out with premises where we have properties of the whole, and then you try to reason on the assumption that the property, because it applies to the whole, that the property applies to each member of the whole or each of the parts. And that's a bad assumption. Okay, I think here you just think about it a little bit. It's very intuitive why it's a bad assumption. All right, so we're just thinking whole to part. That's our anchor point. All right, so once again, I'll try to demonstrate shallow dip analysis with the anchor point that we're doing whole to part reasoning. Premises are about the whole, the big thing. The conclusion is about the smaller thing. Okay, so A says each word, so the whole book. Nope, wrong direction. We're moving from small premise to big conclusion. Right, part in the premise, the whole in the conclusion. City council voted unanimously, so council, oh, this is good, right? Whole to part, big to small. This one survives. Paragraphs long, so the sentences are long. Okay, big to small, yeah, survives. Members coming old, so the company, nope, this is part to whole, small to big, no good. Atoms comprising molecular elements, so the molecule, so this is small, right, conclusion, big, no good. Wrong direction. So shallow dip got us to B and C. Now let's just deep dive these two, and then we'll come back and we'll give each one a thorough analysis as well. So B says the city council voted unanimously to adopt the plan. So Councilman Martinez voted that. I mean, sure, yeah, this is like reasoning from big to small, from whole to part, or from the set, right? Some property of the set to each individual member in that set. But there's nothing wrong with this reasoning, right? I mean, like, if you want to say something's wrong with the reasoning, it's like maybe Martinez wasn't there, right? Like maybe Martinez was absent. Okay, but if like Martinez was there, this is just what it means for a unanimous vote. Every council person, every person on the council voted to adopt. Okay, so if this conclusion doesn't follow from the premise, it's not because of a whole to part error, right? It's just because of some, you know, factual assumption in the world. Like, I don't know what the rules are about, you know, the vote.
Okay, so that's why B doesn't match. Whereas this analogizes the flaw in the reasoning. The paragraph is long, right? Long is a feature of the whole of the paragraph. That doesn't mean each sentence is long. Okay, you can have a couple of short sentences. You can have lots of short sentences. In fact, you can have all short sentences that together comprise a long paragraph. This matches the reasoning. Just like out here, I mean, I said it's reasonable for some of these to be super expensive, but it doesn't have to be. It could be that every single one is cheap, but then together as a collection, it's super expensive. Okay, so it matches really, really well. It's analogous in its pattern of reasoning. Okay, so that's B and C taken care of. Now let's take a look at A. Each word in the book is French, so the whole book is in French. This is part to whole reasoning. That's why we got rid of it, right? Part to whole. At a high level, it didn't match the logic here. But now I want you to think about this argument on its own terms and tell me if this is okay. Is this flawed or is this not flawed? You know, I said back when we did a lot of part to whole and flaw questions, it's not inherently flawed just to reason from, just like how reasoning from whole to part isn't inherently flawed. It all depends on what properties you're talking about. What is the relationship between the whole to part? This is fine. I mean, like, what? Each word in the book is in French, so the whole book is in Chinese. That makes no sense, right? Like, what are you smoking? Okay, so there's nothing wrong with this reasoning. All right, let's look at D. The members of the company are old, so the company itself is old. Okay, hey, once again, this is part to whole, right? You got members, you got individual members, and then now you're trying to reason about the reason to the set, right? The whole. On the surface, this looks just like this. But is this also okay reasoning or is this flawed reasoning? This is flawed reasoning. Why? Because a bunch of 80-year-olds could have gotten together yesterday to form this company. So the company is brand spanking new, even though each member is in his or her 80s. Right? So, like, what else can you say? It just depends on what the property is, right? It just so happens that the relationship between the words in the book to the whole book, when it comes to the property of being French, does transfer. But here, you know, the relationship between the people who make up the company when it comes to the property of being old doesn't transfer. Now, how about E? Is E like D or is E like A? E is also part to whole reasoning. Which one is it more like? It's more like D. Sure, yeah, of course, atoms comprising the molecule are elements, but that doesn't make the molecule an element. That's just not what it means to be an element. All right, so hopefully you were able to recognize this mode of reasoning whole to part, and you were able to match it correctly. Very important takeaway: part to whole reasoning, whole to part reasoning. Neither is in principle flawed. It all depends on what you're actually talking about.
This one has another video before we get to another practice problem. Have a great day, John. Thank you for tuning in. Hopefully I see you in my next YouTube live or the comic section, my full nutritional YouTube video. Hi, hey John. How's my day? My day is going it's going good. No complaints. Really, just studying. Just woke up. Well, I woke up like 2 hours ago. So yeah. How's your day going?
To this question stem, which you'll quickly notice is a bit different from the question stems that we've encountered so far. The two key words here are principle illustrated. Right? There are more keywords, but I'll get to that. Initially, you might have noticed these two keywords, which I hope they're ringing a bell. I hope you're thinking, wait a second, we've done a question type in the past with these two keywords, and that was the principal question type, right? That was some time ago we did this. So let's do a quick review. Do you remember what the principal question type was? Well, typically what happens is that in the stimulus, you have a highly specific, right, highly detailed description of some event, right? That's in the stimulus. And then what will happen is that you'll find the right answer choice that is more general, right? A more high level statement of a principle that captures this specific detailed event, but could also capture other specific detailed events. Right? So the correct answer choice is going up from specific to the general. Now, I hope you'll also recall that back in the principal questions, I mentioned that later on we're going to encounter a different question type where we have to do an additional step, right? The additional step is that after you figure out what the general principle is, it's not going to be stated anywhere in the answer choices, but you still have to figure it out. Right? The test is just counting on us to extract the principle out of the stimulus and then hold it in our minds. Because what we're going to encounter in the answer choices are going to be 5 different specific situations, right? Specific detailed situations. Okay, and what distinguishes the right answer from the wrong answers is this additional step of having gone up, now we need to come back down. Let's say this is the right answer. Why? It's because this answer illustrates the same general principle that this answer illustrates. Or from a different perspective, this same general principle captures both of these specific details. Okay, so this is the extra step that we didn't have to do back when we were doing principal questions. We just had to do this when we did principal questions. Adding this extra step on is what makes this a parallel/analogy question, right? You can see that. It's like these two, what are their relationship? You can say that they're like parallel modes of reasoning, or you can say, oh, they're analogous arguments. Why? Why are they analogous? By virtue of them sharing the same principle. Okay? So conceptually, that's what's going on. But remember at the top of this, we said, wait a second, the two words principle illustrated, don't they signal principle? Like, am I not misidentifying this question stem then? Yeah, there is a danger of doing that for sure. So let's actually read the question stem in full. Which one of the following most closely conforms to the principle illustrated by Evan's criticism of vegetarians who eat seafood? So you see, over here in the stimulus, I'm not showing it to you, but I think you already know what's in here, right? This is Evan's criticism of vegetarians who eat seafood. Very specific, very detailed. The question stem is telling you that this specific detail is illustrating some principle. Right now, what's the answer choices? I'm also not showing you, but I bet you can figure it out. Which one of the following, referring to answer choices, conforms to the same principle? They're not saying which one of the following is the principle. They're saying one of the following also conforms to the very same principle illustrated by Evan's specific situation, specific details, which is how we know that this is a parallel analogy question. This is detailed, this is specific, so is this. Both of them are illustrating principle, right? The word, the actual verb that they use in the question stem literally is illustrate for the stimulus and conform for the answer choice. Okay, but it doesn't matter. I mean, these are more or less synonymous for our purposes, right? The principle is here. It's not going to be stated, right? It's always going to be under the surface. But what will be explicit, what will be textual, will be the original stimulus and each answer choice. Okay, so again, this is, abstract, right? This is like a theoretical way of getting at what this question stem is. There's a much faster way of doing this. You just need to look at the stimulus and look at the answers. Right? Look at the stimulus. Evan talking about vegetarian, talking about seafood, blah, blah, blah. Highly specific. Now look at the answer choices. Do they look like principles? No, they don't, right? They look like specific situation. Farah, money, movie ticket, defective vehicle, manufacturer, right? Tax incentives. Specific situations described here in each of the answers. Specific situation described here in the stimulus. Okay, so that's the quick way. Now, of course, I wanted to give you that theoretical underpinning, the foundation, so you understand why this is not a principal question, in spite of the fact that it has these two words, principle illustrated. That Actually, this is a parallel analogy question. But now that you have the theoretical understanding, you don't have to do that hard work of, not looking at this, and figuring it out. No, you can just look at it. It takes like 5 seconds. Okay, so with that out of the way, let's get on with actually doing this question. And you'll find that it's not that different. Your approach is going to be very similar to all of the parallel/analogy questions that we've done up to this point. Okay, so Evan, what do you want to tell us? I am a vegetarian because I believe it's immoral to inflict pain on animals for paying food. All right, that's a reasonable rationale to be a vegetarian. Let's go on. Some vegetarians who share this moral reason. So Evan's not alone. Evan's saying, here's my reason for being vegetarian. There are others who share my reason for being vegetarian, don't want to inflict pain on animals for paying food. But they do consume seafood. Okay. Now, I'm already thinking it must be because whatever seafood that they're consuming cannot experience pain, right? Otherwise, you're not really being consistent. So let's see if that's what my anticipation holds out, right? If my anticipation bears out. And it doesn't, because on the grounds that they just don't know whether certain sea creatures can experience pleasure or pain. I mean, pleasure doesn't matter, but pain kind of matter. This is really suspicious. I mean, it's like, imagine you meet up with some shady people who promise you a lot of money if you'll like transport a duffel bag full of definitely not drugs, okay, from one state to another. Like, do you think you can do it on the grounds that, well, I mean, I don't know what's in there. I didn't look, right? They said it wasn't drugs. You see what I'm getting at here? Like, this feels to me, you don't know whether they can experience pain, but, right? But okay, let's see. Evan says, but if it's truly wrong to inflict needless suffering, we should extend the benefit of doubt to sea animals and refrain from eating seafood. Yeah, right? I think so. I mean, if you really believe this, if you really believe it's not moral to inflict pain on animals to obtain food, and then here's a class of animals for which you're not sure whether they can experience pain, then what do? You err on the side of caution, right? You extend the benefit of the doubt. You take the precautionary principle, right? So there, I've given you 3 generalized statements, right? I said err on the side of caution, take the precautionary principle, or extend the benefit of the doubt, right? Which is what Evan literally says. But I think all 3, like whichever formulation, and hopefully this is familiar from when we actually did principle questions, any of the 3 formulations captures, in a general sense, what's happening here, right? These are principles illustrated by Evan's criticism of his fellow vegetarians who do eat seafood because they don't know if fish can experience pain, right? So Evan's saying, hey, look, that's fine. We don't know if fish can experience pain. But because we don't know, it's better to be more careful. It's better to err on the side of caution. It's better to extend the benefit of the doubt and don't eat fish. Okay, so now we've generalized from the specifics, right? You see how this is very similar to what we have been doing up to this point with parallel analogy questions. You take specifics, you try to strip away the content details, you try to make it into some abstract shape. For conditional logic, we translated into symbols, right? For causal logic, we did the same. Here in this kind of question, the generalization, the abstraction is just some principle, right? So now with this, we're going to find an answer choice that also illustrates, or in the question stem's words, conforms to this principle. We'll start with A, which says, I don't know if I repaid Farah the money she lent me for a movie ticket, and she says that she does not remember whether or not I repaid her. Okay, how's the setup so far? It's not bad, right? Neither person remembers whether or not the money was repaid. Now, I've covered up the final sentence in this answer choice to give you a chance to practice the technique of anticipating first. Right? Having said what A just said, it is handcuffed, it's constrained, it is locked in, so to speak. If A wants to be the right answer, what must A say? How would it exhibit, conform, or illustrate erring on the side of caution? How would it illustrate the precautionary principle? How would it extend the benefit of the doubt? Right? What would it have to say? It would have to say something along the lines of, hey, you know what? Let's just give Farah money to be safe, to be sure, just in case. Right? Let's err on the side of being a little too careful. Okay, so let's see. Is that what A says? Yep. In order to be sure that I have repaid her, I will give her the money now. Perfect. This is the correct answer. Okay, so I hope that wasn't so bad. I hope it's all kind of coming together now. You know, the similarities between principal questions where you have to generalize, and then parallel analogy questions where you also have to generalize, right? You have to generalize on the basis of a shared generalization that we say two specific arguments are analogous or parallel reasoning. Okay, let's now look at the other answers. Next up is B. It is uncertain whether all owners of the defective vehicle know that their vehicles are being recalled by the manufacturer. Okay. Again, I'm not showing you the final sentence because I want you to practice anticipating. Having said what B said is now locked in, right? If it wants to be the right answer, what must it say? How can it err on the side of caution? How can it demonstrate the precautionary principle? How can it illustrate extending benefit of the doubt, right? It's not clear whether all the owners of the defective vehicle know that their vehicles are currently being recalled by the manufacturer. So what? What should the car manufacturer do? It should redouble efforts to inform the owners that the cars are being recalled, right? That's what they should do, or something, right? Something along those lines. So now let's look at the actual conclusion. And no surprise there, B is not the right answer. It doesn't say that. We should expect that some vehicles that have been recalled have not been returned. I mean, yeah, that's a fairly reasonable inference to draw from this premise. If it's uncertain whether everybody knows that the vehicle is recalled, yeah, we should expect that some of the vehicles haven't been returned yet, right? It is a precondition of their return that the owners know that they need to return it. Okay, so that's just analyzing the strength of this argument, which is pretty good. Okay, but it doesn't illustrate this principle. That's the problem. That's what makes B the wrong answer. Next up is C. I'm opposed to using incentives such as reduced taxes to attract business. All right, that's interesting, right? Having said this, C's locked in. How can that be a demonstration of the precautionary principle? How can this conform to erring on the side of caution, right? I'm not showing you the rest of the answer because I want to force you to flex that muscle, right? Think hard about this. There must be something about these reduced tax incentives that will generate some unknown consequence that might be bad, right? It might be good, it might be neutral, it might be bad. That's the key point because we don't know whether sea creatures experience pain. Recall back in answer choice A, neither party knew whether Farah had been repaid. So there's got to be something a bit unknown about this. And then erring on the side of caution, let's just hold off on the incentives for now, right? Because of some unknown potential negative consequence. Okay, that's what I have loaded up in my mind. Let's take a look. The incentives track businesses only interest short-term profits. Such business would make our regions less stable because they have no long-term. Okay, so this sounds like a known consequence, a known negative consequence. I mean, if this is all you're talking about, then this is just a cost-benefit analysis where we take a look at the known benefits, we take a look at the known costs, and in aggregate, we don't like it, right? Because it's not good. Okay, but then how's that illustrating the precautionary principle? How's that illustrating erring on the side of caution when there's something you don't know, right? It's not. That's why C isn't the right answer. Next up is D. And here I want to do something different. I want you to look at the entire answer choice and in maybe 15 to 20 seconds, give me your best shallow dip reason for getting rid of this. Okay, you ready? Here's mine. This is not even an argument. It's just a laundry list of potential benefits and a mitigation of a potential downside, right? Let's see. Updating our computer could lead to, okay, that's a potential benefit. Present system, no problem, but we could benefit. Okay, great, another potential benefit. And if we don't get new customers, see, we can mitigate that downside. Could be financed through higher fees. So great, that's also, I don't know what to call it, like not a cost, right? So I'll just put maybe a benefit like this. But wait a second, you're not prescribing anything, or you're not taking a position on anything. So how can you be illustrating erring on the side of caution? Or how can you illustrate precautionary principle? So that's why D isn't right. Now, I want you to take some time and think about how you can take the
Welcome back, Jimmy. Welcome back, John. Welcome back, Marcus. Welcome back, Steel Lover Kitchen. Welcome. Good morning, boss. Glad you could tune in. So this is the last practice problem that I'm going to do, and then I'm going to take like a 2-hour break. And then after that 2-hour break, I do have this like LSAT loophole textbook that I'm gonna read, and then after that I have they have a live class going over parallel reasoning, which is what I'm studying at 1 p.m. today. Yeah, so let us go through this final drill, see if we can get it, or if I can get it right. Let's see. Which one of the following most closely conforms to the principle illustrated above? Buying elaborate screensavers programs that put moving images on a computer monitor to prevent damage. What? Buying elaborate screensavers, okay. So these elaborate screensavers are programs that put moving images on a computer monitor to prevent damage, okay. Can cost the company far more in employee time than it saves in electricity and monitor protection. Employees can't resist spending time playing with screensavers that flash interesting graphics across their screen. A school an energy efficient industry. Time it takes screensavers can cost a company far more.
Okay, let's take a look at
You
how
get
you
it
did
right,
here,
but
starting
I'm just
with the
gonna write
question
it down
stem.
because it
Once
was
again,
kind of a
it's
slow
not clear that this
process.
is a parallel slash analogy question. In fact, the two words that are prominent suggest it might be a principal question. Okay, so you just need to take a look at the stimulus, take a look at the answers. You realize, oh, this is very specific, right? And this too is very specific. And now take a look again at the question stem. It's telling us that there is a principle that this thing is illustrating, right? This thing is illustrating some principle. And then the correct answer choice, this one here, it's correct because it conforms, right? It conforms to the same principle. Okay, so let's take a look at the stimulus and see what principle is being illustrated. Buying elaborate screensavers can cost a company far more employee time than it saves in electricity and monitor protection. Okay, so this is what screensavers are, right? Programs that put moving images on a computer monitor, prevent damage. It's just saying this thing, right? This thing here has a bigger cost, or potentially bigger cost than it can benefit. So classic cost benefit analysis, right? Where this potentially outweighs, the cost outweighs the benefit. Now, if you want to know why, this last sentence tells you employees can't resist spending time playing with screensavers that flash at you. Oh my God. Seriously, like who did you hire, right? Did you hire cats? Anyway, so here, I mean, I don't want to get more specific, but if you do, you can say the cost is employee time, the benefit is electricity saved and equipment protection. But I think this is good enough as a general principle that you, for something, you have some costs, you have some benefits, you gotta weigh them, right? And it seems like the costs are gonna outweigh the benefits. That's what we're trying to duplicate, right? That's what we're trying to identify out of these 5 situations, which one also has that structure. A says a school that chooses textbook based on student preference may not get the most economic package. Okay. I mean, this doesn't seem like a cost benefit consideration, right? It just seems like it's illustrating some kind of trade off. You can't have it all. What do you value? You value student preference, giving the students what they want. Okay, sure, if you value that, you got to pay for it, right? You literally have to pay for it. You got to pay money. All right, let's say you value your budget, right? You want to save some money. Okay, you got to pay for that too. Sacrifice your students' preferences. So which one you want? You see what I mean? It's not really cost. It's not like, oh, here's the cost, here's the benefit. Oh, this one's heavier, right? So A doesn't work. B, I think, is kind of tricky. It says an energy efficient installation system may cost more upfront, but will ultimately save money over the lifetime of the house. Superficially, it seems like, oh, look, more cost, right? More cost than the savings. But that's at a very superficial level. You just got to scratch a little bit and you'll see that it's not actually what's happening. For this situation, if this is the screensaver, right? If the energy efficient installation is screensaver, B is telling us that ultimately the benefits outweigh the cost, right? Ultimately, in the long run, the benefits catch up and overtake the cost. So it's not like this. C says the time that it takes to have a pizza delivered may be longer than it takes to cook a complete dinner. Okay, this also doesn't illustrate principle. C is showing us 2 options, right? You want delivery of pizza or you want to cook your own dinner. Between the 2 options, it only contemplates one factor, which is how long it takes. That's all C does, right? So it's not like a cost-benefit analysis of, oh, I don't know, pizza delivery. Right, nor is it a cost-benefit analysis of cooking a dinner at home. D says a complicated hotel security system may cost more in customer goodwill than it saves in losses by theft. Yeah, I mean, this is really good, right? You got a complicated hotel security system, just like Labor Screensaver. What's the cost, right? And how does that outweigh the benefit? Well, the cost, they tell us, is consumer goodwill. It's got to be really annoying to go through this thing, right? That's the cost, and it outweighs the benefit of loss prevention or theft, right? Loss by theft prevention. So D is fantastic. Finally, E says an electronic keyboard may be cheaper to buy than a piano, but more expensive to repair. Okay, again, this is a comparison of 2 options, either electronic keyboard or a piano. Either one has something going for it. The benefit of electronic keyboard is that it's cheaper to buy. Okay, but you know what? The benefit of a piano is that it's cheaper to repair. So which one you want to choose? I don't know, right? Again, it's not like the original where, oh, let's talk about electronic keyboard having some costs that outweigh the benefits of electronic keyboard, right? Nor is it like, oh, you know, let's talk about a piano and how a piano has some heavy costs that may outweigh the benefits.
do one more. I know I said that was the last one. Let's see. Of the following, which one illustrates a principle that is most similar to the principle illustrated in the passage? Since there is no survival value in an animal having, since there is no survival value in animals having, that's not correct grammar. Since there is no survival value in an animal's having, what? Hang on. Okay, it is a result of the efficiency of natural selection that no organ. What? Alright, so I'll watch the video after. I got that one right, but I'll write down the question because that one was a little tricky to say. It's not say tricky, it's just like I select the answer, but I'm not 100% sure. But I select the answer anyway because I feel like that's just the best option. But we shall see. So I'm going to set my timer. What time is it? 10, 11, 12. So I have time for like an hour and 40 minutes, and then I'm going to read. I have a textbook. I'm going to read some of that. Then I have an appointment at 1. Yeah, there's a time in a live class, right? There's a live class on parallel reasoning from 1 to 2:30. But welcome. Hey, Haley. How are you doing today? Glad you can tune in. Let me send this. 1, 2, 2, 3. And after that appointment, I'm going to go to the gym. Don't like going to the gym late, but I'm going to go. So I have to put my clothes to dry. My clothes were washing. So let me go and do that. Let me set my timer. Hey Siri. My iPod's not responding. So set a timer for 1 hour and 20. I know I said 40. I don't care. Let's just do 1 hour and 20 minutes. Ooh, sorry, guys. So, welcome everybody to the live stream. Good morning, everybody. gonna turn into a quick clean with me. It's not gonna take too long. So I have to put my clothes to dry. But welcome back if you are a returning subscriber. Thank you so much for your continued support. If you are a new viewer here, welcome if you are new. I am Uniquely Nia, a degree graduate student studying public administration and criminal justice, and I hope that you like the video and consider subscribing. So I'll put these clothes to wash like as soon as I woke up. But I forgot to put it to dry, so. Well, I didn't forget since I'm doing it now. I didn't put it to dry immediately. And then I'm going to wash my towels and washcloth. Good morning, Holly. How are you doing today? Then I'm going to put this to dry. So just finished. I think I studied for maybe like 2 hours, so I'm taking a break to clean up really quickly, and then I'm going to go back, and study. So let us clean up my bathroom. So I bought Clorox spray. You're gonna open the Clorox spray. It had like on off. I like to just pour a whole bunch of random chemicals to clean up. Maybe it's not good, who knows. This is finished. I should have bought it. Well, no, it has some. This is like the Lysol cleaning gel. This is finished now, so this is gonna go in the garbage, guys. And then I also have, what's your like go-to cleaning supplies? What do you guys use to clean up? Then I have like the Clorox in the bottle. I didn't know I had this. I was gonna, wow, that almost fell in the toilet. The cap, and I was not about to put my hand in the toilet to take that out. So it's a good thing I didn't fall, guys. And then, what do I have? Oh wait, guys, I have this. This just goes in the toilet, and it like, it's like a form of air freshener, you can say. And then I have another bottle of this. So, how do you do it? You turn the cap. Nothing's coming. Okay. Yeah, it's blue. Okay. And then I have the brush thing. Then I'm going to take toilet paper and wipe like the blue thingy around. I don't know, the Lysol, not the blue thingy, that's the name of it. Forgot the name for a second, guys. When is your cleaning day? Like, what day of the week do you take to clean up? Sunday is generally. My mom always used to clean on Sunday, so that's why I clean on Sunday. This is garbage. Now we're going to open this. Where's my scissors? I can't even open this. Ow. So this is what it looks like. I don't even know what it is, but I just know like it smells like air freshener, so, and you just put it in your toilet. So you have to take off like the packaging first, obviously. That's what I'm doing. Like this, and then you raise up the toilet seat and just put it there. And then okay, so now we're going to clean. 1 second, I'm gonna come back 1 minute. So now let us clean like my desk area. Not my, this is my desk, my countertop, whatever. Good morning, Forrest, how are you doing? Glad you can tune in. Messi or Ronaldo? I'm not really like a sports person, but somebody who's occasionally at my house is obsessed with Ronaldo, so I guess Ronaldo. This. I don't even use this water flosser anymore. Oops. It I don't know, it doesn't work anymore. That's why. So I can honestly throw it away. Like a bow for my hair. So take some Clorox. Still over kitchen, and why did you put Clorox bleach in your towel? It's not white. Well, just because I didn't I was just washing my, anytime I wash like my like sheets or towels, I just put Clorox in it. Because like it's not like I wash it every week, so we wash it every 2 weeks, so that's why. So now I'm going to mop the floor. So let's take see the floor, right? You're good. Where's the mop? So what I'm going to do, I'm gonna throw some Clorox because I don't know where that thing came from. So we're gonna open it and just throw like a little bit. It'll like spread out on its own. Sure, I did steal every kitchen. Okay, so we're just going to. Maybe I shouldn't have thrown the Clorox. This is not. I put too much. I feel like. Oh my god. Maybe I'll just put like a washcloth to dry it after. Could do that. Oops. This is slippery, guys. One second. Oh my god. Ew, I touched the toilet brush. This thing is slippery, guys. I'm gonna fall down. Ew, look at that. That's nasty. Ew, let's change it, man. That's weird. I'm not gonna put another one on. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get a washcloth. I need to put some water on that floor, guys. Too much Clorox. Too much Clorox. This is why I don't like cleaning up. That was too much Clorox. Sorry, roommates, if you guys are awake. Okay. I think I'm good. I put the vent on, so it's gonna air out. Our doors are open. You got the same Swiffer. You've been doing it wrong. You've been putting the blue Oh no, I do it the opposite way, but I feel like what does Sea Love Research say? Close the Clorox bottle, leave the door open so your room can air out. Yeah, I just put like the blue upside down because I have my, well, you may have, the thing is you could be using yours right. I could be using mine wrong because I don't have like a Swiffer mop. Like I have the Swiffer wipes. The mop is, this was like a great value mop, but it does the job. But honestly, I feel like no matter which side you use it, you're going to be good because with the Clorox, as long as you press down, the Clorox like seeps through, if that makes sense. So you're good. So let me get a washcloth. Because I'm gonna mop the floor or dry the floor with the washcloth. Use it as like a mop because that floor is too wet and it's not gonna air dry on its own. So I'm gonna put one of these like that. But welcome. Glad you could tune in to Deliver Kitchen. Glad you could tune in, Uncle Wayne. Welcome everybody. Shout out to you guys. Thank you so much for the continued support. Shout out if you've been here for a while. If you are a new viewer here, I'm Unique Lamia, also known as Mia, and I'm a dual-degree graduate student studying public administration and criminal justice, and I essentially show you guys my life. And today we mixed chemicals together too much, so that wasn't good. at all. So let us go and dry the floor really quickly. So hopefully that's going to aid in like this, how do I put them up so you guys see the floor? You don't want to see me, you want to see the floor. Hopefully that's gonna aid in like the airing out of the Clorox. This trying the floor like this. Guys, we need more water. It changed color because of the Clorox. We got too much Clorox on the floor. There's too much Clorox on the floor. Let us get out of here. Yeah. 1 second, guys. There's too much Clorox. Yeah, the main hallway door is open. So yeah, there's too much, what are you guys saying? Close the Clorox, I did that. Come on, we need you around. Open the main door. So, so you guys saw, I used like a wet wipe to dry the floor and it changed the it changed color. That's because of the Clorox. So what I did was I threw more water on the floor. So I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna change this. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna mop it up and hopefully it doesn't change color. I didn't know I put that much Clorox. I guess a little bit really does go a long way. Cause I did not know that, guys. I put the, let's see, I put the, let me close that door. I put the, sink on because I feel like running water, it helps with the, Clorox smell. Yeah, I have to wash that washcloth. What's up, Christopher? Welcome, welcome. Glad you can tune in. So guys, stay for 1 second. I'm gonna come back. I have to get a washcloth to dry the floor. Cannot find any more of my washcloth, so I'm just gonna use this. I do not wear it because I'm not comfortable going outside in it, and I don't really sleep in it either, so I'm just gonna use this like very cropped shirt to dry the floor with it. Hopefully it doesn't change color. If it does, I'm okay with it. All my washcloths are washing right now in the washer machine. Okay, I think we're good. I don't smell water anymore. The floor is just really wet now because I did throw a lot of water. So I am trying to dry it. Did it change color? No, so that means we're good, but it's dripping with water. Ew. This floor is wet. Do I have another towel? I have a towel washing, so I'm gonna use this. Yeah, my towel's washing. I'm just gonna use this dry floor because this is really wet. So welcome to the live stream, guys. I'm cleaning up my bathroom right now, and I put too much Clorox. Okay, I mixed too much chemicals together, so there was like a concern there for a second with a lot of Clorox and the smells and everything. So I had to combat that. I just put a lot of water on the floor. So now there's too much water for it to like air dry naturally. So I'm just taking a towel and I'm gonna wash the towel. Don't worry, guys. This is why. So now Stu Lover Kitchen, I think you asked, why do I put Clorox in my stuff? Because put Clorox in my stuff, clean it really well, could potentially still use it as a bathing towel. And Clorox is supposed to kill all the bacteria, right? So this is why when I wash my stuff, I just mix a whole bunch of chemicals in to make sure, like, hey, stuff is actually really clean. So, but I have an extra towel, so I'm good anyway. Oh my god. Were you having a lot of problems clean? What? No, mostly anytime that happens though, the only time like the smell of it is when I clean the bathroom, because I tend to mix a lot of chemicals together when I clean my bathroom. So we're not even gonna put this back in the bathroom because I have to wash. Once my stuff is finished washing, I have my towels washing. Once that's finished, those stuff to wash. So what time is it? We can vacuum. Quiet hour is finished. So I'm gonna vacuum up. Yeah. What's this? What is this? I did not wear these outside, so that's fine. These mats, I guess I'll wash the mats. I'll put these to wash as well. But welcome. What is your cleaning day? Do you guys have like a designated day that you clean up, or do you just clean when you like feel like cleaning? I'm so lucky this thing didn't get on my foot. What is this doing on the floor, guys? Oh my gosh. That's crazy. Okay, we're gonna hang this up. This is empty. We're going to push this. That's where I keep like all my plastic bags, all my extra suitcase underneath my bed. We're gonna put all this here. We're gonna vacuum this. This is gonna be fine, but before you vacuum, you wanna try and pick up what you can, to be honest. Good morning, Shamir. How are you doing today? Glad you can tune in. I have this extra toothpaste. Let us do some ASMR restocking. Can you guys see? Ow. Oh, I did have another washcloth. Can you guys even see? ASMR. that's all we got for ASMR content, guys. Sorry. Okay. I'm gonna put that fan back on. And then this is garbage. So we're gonna leave this outside of my room. This has like it's the wash towel. This is like old cleaning supplies. I'll throw that outside when I go outside. So now let's vacuum. Let's make sure a book bag is in the corner. My massager's on. Turn this off. Where's the cord? Oh. I'm doing good. How are you doing, Shamir? Glad you could tune in. We're gonna use the thingy, the blower or whatever, to get that out, the paper. No, I am not. Not today, Shamir. Okay, so I think we're good. Let me put this up. Take this out. Welcome, Anthony. Yes, I am. Just kind of put that there. And we are good. So guys, thank you so much for cleaning up with me. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. I plan to go to the gym later on. So I have an appointment at 1:30 to 2, so I can't go to the gym early, but like if you want to see me, at least walk to the gym with me. Make sure you're subscribed, make sure post notifications are on, and thank you so much for being here. Shout out if you've been here since my LSAT Studying videos. And yeah, so have a great rest of your day. I'll see you soon, and don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and check out some of my previous full-length traditional YouTube videos if you haven't already. Bye guys, have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for watching.